Did you know there's another famous ruin in Cusco?
And it's made out of some really big rocks. Hi, welcome to Around the World with Joshua and Alyssa, episode 119. Alyssa is going to tell us some more about Peru today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Just checking.
I am. I'm going to tell you about another place we went that is an ancient site near Cusco. So we got to go on a horseback tour, actually, which was really fun, which is why we have those ridiculous helmets on our heads. Oh. And we had ponchos because it was raining while we were riding the horses. But we got to go through this cave, and when we got through the cave, we got to see this ruin, which is called Sacsayhuaman. And it's kind of like Macchu Pichu in the sense that it's like rocks all fit together, but those are huge rocks. Like, I don't know if you can tell it from this picture, but they're massive.
Nope. It just looks like little guys.
Like massive rocks. Do you see the little person there on the top?
Yeah.
How about for more comparison?
Oh yeah, and you're a tall person,
yeah,
so that's like big.
Well, I'm 5 foot and on my tiptoes, and that's my hand reaching way above my head.
Wow.
So
they moved those with their hands?
Somehow they moved them with something. But they're big rocks, and look at how well they're fit together. Like, you can kind of see that right behind my head. They're fit together like perfectly, like a Tetris puzzle.
They're so smart.
Pretty incredible. They think that this rock is like the largest one, and I don't even remember even how many tons they think it is.
Well,
it weighs.
A lot more than you, because you don't weigh very much.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
So here's another picture of it, of how they are just like intricately just fit together, and there's not glue. They're held together by the angles that they're put together and everything, which is like incredible. It's pretty amazing.
What?
Yep.
They're so smart.
Back in the day.
Wow.
So we got to tour around that, and thankfully it stopped raining, so we weren't getting dripped on at the same time. But that's another ancient site, and they had these cool rocks. They definitely look like they probably were from the flood at some sort, but they got like tipped on their sides, so they almost look like slides, and then all the different like oils and stuff that are in the rock show through in the layers.
Ancient water slides.
It's kind of what it looks like.
That's so cool.
And we also got to go to like a little animal sanctuary and see some different birds. This one, do you know what it is?
No.
It looks like it's a vulture.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but
it's in the vulture family, but it's a condor, which is the
condor.
Peruvian state bird, national bird.
Yes.
It's kind of big, ugly,
okay.
But it's their bird, so there it is, a condor. And they had these different birds and stuff in a rescue area, so they had been abandoned or something somewhere, and so they were taking care of them, or there was something wrong with them at some point. They were really pretty parrots. And then all over, especially in Cusco, they have a lot of this beautiful fabric with the designs and patterns and stripes like that. And they showed how traditionally they would have dyed each of those yarns to get those colors. And these are all the different things that they could collect from the area and the colors they could dye the yarn with from them.
Nice.
And they even had some people like working on a loom to weave some of that fabric. Now, most of the time you can just buy it and it's like machine made, like the one that's behind all of this.
Mm-hmm.
But they showed how they did it traditionally, which was really cool and very pretty and colorful.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yep. So that's a little bit more about Cusco. You should probably go there so you can see Macchu Pichu and all
I want to see that place with all the big rocks.
Sacsayhuaman?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That one.
Maybe you'll remember the name someday. Okay. I'm going to tell you some more about Angie. So last time we talked about how Angie was going around to the different hogans, or like the little houses of the Navajo people, and she would talk to them. And one of the ladies who she went to talk to a lot was the witch doctor's wife. And remember, she was in his hogan and reading some Bible verses to his wife, and the medicine man came in and he heard Angie mispronounce a word and he started laughing. And we were wondering, what was she going to do? Well, she heard him laughing, but she decided she was just going to keep on reading. She felt like that was the best thing to do, and he laughed, but she just kept right on reading, and she decided she wasn't going to be bothered by that because she knew she was doing what she was supposed to do, and that was sharing the good news of the gospel. So she began to do more and more of that. She went to lots of people's houses, and she kept coming back to the medicine man's house. And it was interesting. When she would come walking up to the house, after a while, he would follow her back into the house and kind of be in the house so he could listen too. And then he got closer so they could hear exactly what she was saying. And eventually, he started kind of nodding along that he was understanding some of these things that she was reading out of the Bible. And she read a verse from the Bible. She read a verse from John that said that Jesus was the way, the truth, and the life, and that no man could come to the Father except through him. And the medicine man nodded, and he understood. He, after listening to her so many times read from the Bible, he understood that God loved him, that Jesus had come and died in his place, and that he could have a home forever in heaven if he trusted Christ as his Savior. And so he placed his faith and trust in Jesus Christ, and his wife did too. And Angie was so excited. And she kept going around, telling more and more people about Jesus. And she would travel around to all their little houses in her little blue pickup truck. And then kids would get all excited when they saw her coming, and she'd stop and she'd get out and she'd go in and she'd read passages with the families and the mothers. And as more time came, a few more missionaries came to the area, and Angie switched most of her focus just to teaching the ladies, the Navajo ladies, how to read in their own language instead of just teaching in the school. And she would travel up to like 50 miles a day just driving around on dirt roads, so very slow and dusty and bumpy, to get to talk to all of these people. And her love for the Navajo people got even deeper. She just wanted to see them taken care of. She wanted to see that they understood that there was a God who loved them up in heaven. And she kept wondering, how can we tell all of these people about the good news of Jesus? There's so many people, and there's so many people who are ready to hear, but there just aren't enough missionaries. What can we do to spread this news quicker? Well, she noticed that a lot of families who had enough money to buy a radio always kept their radio on the same station, and it was a Navajo station, so the whole program was all in Navajo. And she began to think and pray about it, and she thought, God, maybe we could get onto the radio, and lots of people would get to hear the gospel that way. So she was all excited about her idea, and she went to the radio station manager, and she told him her idea, and he said, well, I'm sorry, ma'am, but we have a rule, no religious things on our show. Sorry, that's the rule. And Angie walked out the door, and she was really disappointed, and she had tears coming down her face. And as she drove away, she kept praying and saying, God, I thought this was a great idea. I thought this would work, but I'm just going to have to wait and see what you think. And a few days later, the station manager called her back, and he said, well, we've changed our policy, and now we're going to allow religious shows, and I guess you can be the first one. So they got to share the gospel on this radio station. Angie did, and they got to share it with so many Navajo people that just listened to the radio all the time. And Angie worked with the Navajo people for 47 years. That's a long time, and remember, she was a little bit older by the time she actually got started working with them. So she served and loved those people for a really, really long time. And you have to come back to hear the last part of the story next week.
Wow, 47 years.
It's a long time.
Good
One
job.
group of people.
That's really cool. Well, today we are going to tell you about a missionary, another lady, who has not been serving for 47 years yet, but you never know, she might make it there. We're going to tell you about Rhonda Green in Micronesia. And so we have covered her before, and I asked her a few questions relating to her ministry recently and what has been going on this summer, and also how God led her to Micronesia. So, well, let's get started here. Here is a recent picture. And I said, what does summer ministry look like for you on Guam? And she said, summer ministry is different but includes more activity with the bus kids, like hiking, camp, and open court nights. What's that?
So they have a basketball court on the campus, and they'll just have nights where kids can come and play. Otherwise, it's locked up and they can't use it. But there aren't a lot of public places like that for kids to just go play at parks and stuff.
Okay, cool. She said, I do a lot of driving in the summer. Well, she always does a lot of driving, but that must mean she especially does a lot of driving in the summer. She helps at camp as a second opinion on teen counselor sicknesses or injuries, as well as with transportation off campus. And so she just has picture after picture of her in these vans and buses bringing kids places. I asked how God led her to ministry in Micronesia, and she said that God led her there through His Word and visiting the different islands on teams. Being willing to serve anywhere and in any capacity gave lots of room for even changes of ministry opportunities that she thought God would direct her. And so that is what He did, and so now she has been serving on Guam for many years. I asked for praises and prayer requests. She said that she is thankful for the teens that are faithful in coming to church. Wow, look at that group of people.
Phew.
And she said, pray for them to be faithful in discipleship, a monthly program that they are setting up to run throughout the school year. They will be meeting at least once a month, if not more frequently. The Bible college students and the graduates will be involved in that ministry as well. She said a new school year is starting up and she will be teaching another class in the Bible college. She's teaching science. So please pray for wisdom for her and for the students to learn to love God through the study of science.
Cool.
Yep. So that is an update on our friend Rhonda Green.
She's a very busy person on Guam.
Yes.
She's always going somewhere with somebody, helping somebody out, always willing to help or just listen. The girls really loved her a lot.
Yeah, so praise God for what she's been able to do and pray for the different opportunities that are still upcoming.
Yep. So today we don't have a hidden item, we have a missing item. So see if you figure out what's missing. And then come back next week
to see what else is missing or hidden.
Yep.
Bye.